Remember that inequalities are the things with the greater thans and less thans. To graph an inequality, we have basically 3 steps. Some of these can be combined as you get better at them. But we want to begin by graphing the line that's associated with the inequality. Just imagine that the greater than or less than is an equal sign. The line y equals 2x plus 1 is a line that crosses the y-axis at 1 and has a slope of 2. Now we want to decide whether to make it solid or dashed. Now in the long run we'll kind of combine these 2 steps together and just draw the line in the beginning to be the proper line. And so the way we do that is to look to see if we've got the equals on it. This one says greater than or equals. The equal sign means the line is part of the solution. So we want to have a solid line. Then we want to decide which side of the line to shade. To determine that, we choose a point that is on one side or the other and that we know the coordinates for. 0, 0 is a good point to use because it's easy to calculate with. If we plug a 0 for y and a 0 for x, we get 0 is greater than 1. That is not true. So the side where the dot is does not get shaded. This is the graph of the inequality. Here's another one. We draw the line, same line, and this one's going to be a dashed line because the less than sign does not have an equals on it. So we'll make it a dashed line. And then we decide which side to shade. Choosing the point 0, 0 and substituting 0 for x and 0 for y, we get 0 is less than 1. That is true. So we want to shade the side of the line where the dot is. Draw this line. Now we'll draw this one a little bit differently. There's going to be a y-intercept at 4 and an x-intercept at 4. It's going to be a dashed line because there's no equals on the inequality. And we need to pick a point and test it out. I'll use the point 1, 1. Could have used 0, 0. But 1 plus 1 is 2, and that is indeed less than 4. So since that's true, we want to shade the side where the dot is. Here's the last one of these that we'll look at. We draw the graph of the line. There's going to be a dot on the x-axis at 60 divided by 15 and a dot on the y-axis at 60 divided by negative 4. That's going to be a solid line. And if we choose the point 0, 0, 0 greater than 60 is not true, so we want to shade the bottom of the line. Here's some that are a little stranger. We did some like these in an earlier chapter. If we graph the line y equals 3, that's going to be the horizontal line going through 3 on the y-axis. It's going to be a dashed line because there's no equals on the inequality. And we need to shade above or below. Well, the inequality tells us which side to shade. Y is bigger than 3. Where do you see y's that are bigger than 3? That's above the line. Here's a very similar one. X is less than or equal to 2. The line x equals 2 is the vertical line through 2. It's a solid line. And where do you see x's less than 2? They're on the left side of the line. Finally, we're going to take a look at the system of inequalities. And all that means is just draw the graph of each one individually. The first one would be a straight line that goes through 6 on the x-axis and 6 on the y-axis, and it'll be a solid line. We need to decide which side of the line to shade. If we try a point like 0, 0, 0 is greater than 6 is not true, so we want to shade the top side of the line. Let's take the other inequality and draw its graph. Now that would be the graph of y equals 2x. That's a line that goes through the origin and has a slope of 2. That'll be a solid line because of the equals on the greater than. And now we need to decide which side to shade. If we pick out a point on here, like the point on the y-axis, 0, 2, 2 times 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Is negative 2 bigger than 0? No. So we want to shade the bottom part of the line. Now, the idea is, even though I have graphed those two separately, really we want to graph them both on the same coordinate system. Now in the homework, this is as far as you have to go to get the graph. But do you understand that in a system of inequalities, the solution is the part where the two shadings overlap?